Alright, this is the last mini section in 14.7. Excuse me. Valuing inventory. This is using the LIFO method though. So the LIFO method, remember, is a last in first out method. So some businesses might use this method, first in first out. This method assumes that the most recently purchased merchandise, so the last items that you got in, are the ones that are sold first. Therefore, the oldest units are still on hand at the end of the period. The physical flow of a stone and gravel company is last in, first out. When new gravel is received, it is placed on top of the old gravel. The latest gravel received is the first sold. So, whereas grocery stores stock theirs as first in, first out, where if you work at a grocery store and you're supposed to stock items, you're supposed to stock the items that you got in first at the front, and then the items that you just got, like, recently received at the back. This is the items that you received first will have an earlier expiration date than the items that you received last. Every company is going to use a different method. It depends on what kind of a company you are. Like a grocery store would not use this method right here, because that would, no, you do not want to sell, no, then they'd be losing money because all of their first items that they're selling in would go bad. No. Alright, so Wholesome Paint Supply is valuing its inventory of masking tape. We are still on this example. On February 28th, the last day of the month, Wholesale Paint Supply had 88 rolls of masking tape on hand. We're going to use the LIFO method to find the cost of goods sold and the value of the 88 units in inventory. Remember, the first week they received 80 units at $1.15 each, so they have a total of $172 worth of stuff. On February 8th, they received 40 more at $2.25 for a total of $90. That means those 40 cost $90 in total. February 15th, they received 80 more units for $2.30. Notice how the price keeps increasing. That means that they had a total of $184. Those 80 units received cost $184. And then on February 22nd, the units received were 40 and at $2.40 each, which cost a total of $96. So the total of your units received, you received a total of 240 units in the month of February, and the total cost for all of the 240 units was $542. That means those 240 units cost $542 in cash. Just because they're still not sold does not mean that they do not have value to them. So to find the cost of goods sold using the LIFO method, it's going to be similar to the FIFO method. So the first thing you need to do is to determine the number of units sold. So how many, if you received a total of 240 units, but you only have 88 units left at the end of the month, how many did you sell in total? My pencil. No, I don't need my pencil. Yes, I do. I want my pencil. Okay. So, bring this down a little bit. You have 240 units. Remember, the 240 stands for the units received, and that comes from this very last box right here that says 240. Those are the units that you've received in all. And then we're going to take that minus the units on hand. And it tells you right here, had 88 rolls of masking tape on hand. So if you take how much you received from how much you have left, how much you had in total minus how many you have left, that's going to tell you how many you sold. Taking this difference is going to give you 152. So in total they sold 152 units. Now once you know how many you sold, how much is all of those units worth? How much are they worth? Because remember, with inventory, a shirt is not just a shirt. It's the company's going to relate it to money. So then once you know how many you've sold, then you need to assign value to the units sold using the LIFO method. Last in, first out. Last in, first out means that they received these units last. So they're going to start with these units, and they're going to assume that they sold these first, and then these, and then these, and then these. So when you're assigning value to things, you start with the whatever, which depends on which method you're using. If you're using the LIFO method or the FIFO method, if you're using the FIFO method, you would do it the opposite way of the LIFO method, but we are using the LIFO method. Where is it? My pen's running out of ink. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're gonna look at this. There we go. Okay, so you start with the last week. So we're gonna start on February 22nd. February 22nd, we have 40. We received 40 units at $2.40. Okay, well, if we sold 152, well, we're gonna assume 112. So that's good. We're good. So we're gonna assume we sold all 40 of these units at $2.40. So that's a full cost of $96. So for the first 40 items that we sold, the last 40 items that we received, we're going to be like, okay, well, that was $96. Well, then once you use those, so then that week's out. Okay, we sold all of those. Let's go to the next week. So on the next week, you're like, okay, well, I have 80. I need 112. Yeah, we're going to take all of those. So you're going to assume you sold all 80 of those at $2.30. And that gives you a total of $184. You make sure you have enough. Yes, minus 80 would give you 32. Yes, so you sold all of these. Okay. Now if you look, you only need to sell 32 more to meet the cost the units sold. You do not need to go over the units sold because you did not sell that many units. So if you go 32 more, that means we're only going to take 32 out of these 40. If you take 32 out of these 40, that's going to leave you with 8. Because 32 minus 40 minus 32 gives you 8. So out of the 40, we only took 32 of them. So out of the February 8th pile, we're only going to take 32 of those units, and they were $2.25 each, and they cost a total of $90. So what I want you to keep in mind is it's the weeks. Okay, so adding all of this up together. So adding all of this up together, it's going to give us, this should give you exactly this should give you exactly 152 units because you kept track of them on the side. You don't need to know their prices, but you have 152 units sold, and they all sold for a total of $352. And you just get the 352 from adding these numbers. That's all you did here. And then that's actually your last step. It is to add the total cost of the units sold. So 96 plus 184 plus 90 equals 352. Cost of goods sold using LIFO. So COGS is just cost of goods sold. It's just an abbreviation for it. So I wanted you to figure out how much in total did you sell. They sold $352 worth of stuff. So then how much in total do you have left? Alright, flipping this over, that's what the back half of this is about. Please ignore that. Okay. So find the value of the 88 units in ending inventory using LIFO. So, since you already know how many units you sold, you don't need to go and find it. You just need to assign value to them. So we're going to assign value to all of our ending inventory. Alright, so how much do we have left? On the first, we still have 80. How much your ending inventory is how much you have left. So we need to find the prices of how much everything is left. So I've already marked off what I've already sold, so everything that's remaining. So on February 1st, we still have 80 units at $1.15 each. It's going to be a total of $172. And then the week of February 8th, we have 8 remaining at $2.25 each. Make sure you do 8 times $2.25, which will give you a total of $18. So adding these two numbers, that's 88 units. And these are the units that they have on hand. Adding these two numbers. And those 88 units are actually worth $190. And again, the last thing is to add the total cost. Of the units sold. So 172 plus $18 is $190 in ending inventory. Using the LIFO method. And then another way to double check yourself is if you take $190 and you add it to $352, you better be getting that $542. Because everything, they might sell everything for a little bit more than what they bought them for, but the minimum that they're gonna sell them for is this much.